So I'll leave you with three things today, three main principles that we'll talk about. 7 little-known Mindvalley conversion secrets. So the reason it's called, I started with copywriting. I just went with conversion because it goes beyond copywriting, beyond the words that sell, to all the tactics and the strategies, and it's such an all-encompassing thing. It's really conversion. There's 3 types of Mindvalley funnels that I'm going to talk about today, which I'll take you through. I spoke about one of them last year, as Ben mentioned. We specifically covered the Ask funnel, which is surveys. We're going to talk about 2 other different types of ones as well. I'll give you all the tools and resources that you need for going ahead with all this stuff, and I think you're going to be very excited about what I show you today as well. So the first secret that we're going to talk about is the funnels. And everyone talks about funnels and how they're supposed to be. If you have put together a magic funnel, suddenly all your marketing campaigns are solved. There's a lot more to it than that. That's why there's 7 of these things and not just one, because I could put just one secret number 1 funnels on up here and pretend that's the whole solution for everyone, but it's not. It's just part of the picture. Here's what we think happens in a big marketing ecosystem. A marketing ecosystem is simply, all your emails and websites and your campaigns all put together. So the simplistic version is just a landing page here. Then you get an offer. This landing page might have an opt-in on it. Then you get an offer, and then you get daily emails. But here's what's really going on behind the scenes. This is how I mapped it out when we actually put this together. So we have the different traffic sources here. So these might be different Facebook ads and Google ads, that sort of thing. And then the arrows are pretty small, but they come into these offer circles, and that's pretty simplistic. So you have your offer here, different offers, and then after they come in on an initial offer, they actually get onto your broadcast list. Now these traffic and offer systems here are your customer acquisition, and we're going to cover this in a bit more detail a bit later on. Well, your customer acquisition is where you drive the traffic and you get into an initial offer. But some people are not sure about where the broadcast emails, these are like the daily emails or whatever frequency you have that you send out to your list. These are your customer acquisition funnels. And I think a lot of you guys are well aware of lead temperature, where you get the ice cold traffic. It gets nice and warm and toasty and Asian weather like where I live in the offer stage. And by the time they get to your broadcast list where you're using this stuff, they should be on fire. So let's get to that. And there's 2 main parts to any good marketing ecosystem, and this is related to the image that I just showed. The first one is a customer acquisition funnels, and these are things like a webinar funnel, an ask funnel, the survey funnels that I talked about last year, free course and different lead magnets, whatever have you. That's your customer acquisition funnels here. Then your broadcast list. This is your daily emails, your promos, your launches go to this broadcast list. So that's the second part of it here. Here's the business model. This is how they work together. And it's actually really simple. This is the simplest marketing strategy that you'll hear. Step 1 is acquire the customer, and step 2 is monetize the customer. Now notice that I don't have monetization in the first step. I mean, you often do sell something, but you really don't get a return on that customer quite often until step 2. And this is a big mindset shift for anyone who really wants to scale what they're doing online, who wants to scale their funnels, who wants to scale their marketing ecosystem. It's quite a shift in what you're thinking. So you don't have the luxury of just getting customers anymore. You need to focus on buying customers. That's kind of the mind shift that we need to start thinking about. You don't need to be buying your customers. And the cost of this buying includes traffic, and it includes putting these funnels together. So the way it works, there's 3 basic different types of business models, whether it's an online funnel or whether you have a sales team. It really doesn't matter. These are just general examples. So the first one is what the Americans call mom and pop stores. And this is any business where you have to make a profit on the first sale. So if you have an item for sale for $1, then you want to make $1.50 on that sale. So let's say you drive traffic and you get a click for $1, then you want to sell that product for $1.50. It is the lowest risk, and you can do it this way, but you can't scale this way because you just don't have the ability to reach out to all the channels that you need to reach out to. The second type of front-end business models, this is front-end versus the back-end. Like the front-end is that customer acquisition stage that I talked to you about. The second type is the break-even scenario. This is where most people should start because it's scalable without too much risk. So if you're getting a click on a Facebook ad for $1, then you can sell it. Then you can afford to sell a product for $1. Now, that's different from the first one, whereas you're actually making that profit on the front end, but you've now got that customer, and the difference between having a free lead and a paying customer is very different. But now you've got that customer. You've basically got that customer for free, because if you spent 10 grand on ads and you've made 10 grand in sales, on the surface it doesn't sound very appealing, but you've got now 10 grand's worth of customers for free. So most people should start here. Don't worry too much about getting profit on your actual front end. Now, here's where you can get really fancy. It's what I call aggressive customer acquisition. So you can go by this method as well. But there are a few caveats with this. Here's where you lose money on the front end. It's basically what they call a loss leader. So if you're driving traffic for $1 a click, then you might make only 75 cents for that dollar click. So it's a lot different. Highest risk, highest reward. But here's the important part: you need to have the cash flow, because if you're driving $10 of traffic a day, and you're losing money on that, then it's not a problem. But if you're driving $100 of traffic a day, $1,000 of traffic a day, and you're losing money on all those customers, sure, you might make it back within 30 days. But you need that cash flow to actually support that. Otherwise, you're going to go broke very fast. So you need to have the cash flow. I mean, it's definitely the highest reward. Like, if you can afford to lose money on the front end and have a loss leader, then you can really monetize those leads on the back end. If you've got the cash flow, you can do it that way.